Well, hey, it's Wes, and today, here to talk to you about, once again, another battery charger. This time, it's not this. It is the Nitecore USN1. Now, this is a battery charger not for the new Sony cameras like the A9, the A7 Mark III, but the older ones, the battery hogs, the A7 and A7 Mark II series. What's interesting about this? In a previous video, I had talked about this guy here, the rather generic LCD dual battery charger. And one of the reasons I gave for using this over a USB-based charger is this is faster and you don't necessarily have all those USB plugs to play with. I also like the big, beautiful display on this. And a bunch of people hit me up in the comments saying, oh, you gotta get the USB charger, they're so much smaller, more convenient, they're good for travel. That's an excellent point. I'm going to start traveling for photography a little bit more over the coming year, and it would be nice to have something smaller on hand. Now, to get this out of the way right away, they do not have this charger as of yet for the FZ100 battery. Definitely looking forward to that because I only have one of the Sony battery chargers for that because they are very expensive. And so, getting ready for consecutive weddings night after night, it's a little hard to keep all the batteries I have, the FZ100 batteries, charged. I have 4 of them, and just one charger, because I've been waiting for someone to come out with one. A third party. Still waiting, Nitecore. Send it to me. Anyway, what is interesting about this guy? Obviously, it's USB powered. I'm gonna get myself some USB power right here through my old charger. Boop. On the screen, you can see there's a bunch of information, and what got me about this one is there's more information than usual. You've got the voltage going into the battery. You have an estimate of the battery's overall capacity. Now, at first I thought that this was completely bogus because how on earth could they know? So I got in touch with Nitecore. They sent a message to their R&D department, and it turns out they're measuring the battery capacity by taking a measurement of the internal resistance of the battery. Now, that can give you a rough idea of how much capacity the battery has, but depending on the temperature of the battery, the internal resistance is going to change. So although it can give you a bit of a rough snapshot of the battery health and how much capacity it might have, it's not terribly accurate. How do I know it's not terribly accurate? Well, as you're charging the battery and it heats up, that capacity goes all over the place. And at some point, you can see our other metric is how much power it has trickled into the battery, which is pretty nice. That is probably very accurate and something that you can actually use to gauge the capacity of your batteries. So at a few points while charging batteries, I've found that the overall capacity measurement near the end of the charge of the battery was lower than the amount of capacity that the charger put into the battery. So obviously it can't be super accurate. I applaud them for trying and for doing something new and different. And then we also have the temperature of the battery. So it's not just measuring the internal resistance, but also the temperature. How useful is that? I don't know. It doesn't seem to have a shutdown point or anything like that, but it gives you an indication of the overall health of the battery. And these are all metrics that the battery charger is using to decide whether or not your battery is still good. You can see at the top of the screen, it says good. If the battery is no longer good, it will actually tell you if the battery is terrible. Now, you probably already know this because you were shooting with the battery and it died ridiculously fast. But I love that they're actually getting some metrics into this. But overall, at the end of the day, my favorite metric is the amount of power that it has put into the battery throughout the charge. If you keep an eye on that, you will know exactly how much capacity your batteries have. I have all these batteries here, and they all ended up with wildly different capacity measurements and amounts of power going into them. So using this Nitecore charger, I picked 4 batteries that were about the same in capacity so that I could run my tests. I drained these 4 batteries to camera shutoff point, which thankfully, unfortunately, was very easy to do. Just stick it in my A7 Mark II, leave the camera going, and boy do they drain fast. I love the smaller batteries, but I guess I don't really miss the shorter battery life. I loaded up 2 batteries into this guy, 2 batteries into the old one, and measured the amount of time it took for each to charge. So the old battery charger, the big boy right here, it took 1 hour and 51 minutes to charge 2 batteries that were in decent condition from 0 to 100%. This little guy right here actually did better than I expected. Powered just over USB on a 2.4 amp USB charger, so this is an iPad charger, not just some little dinky charger. So it had all the power it wanted. It managed to charge in 2 hours and 20 minutes both of those batteries. I thought it would take a lot longer, not a huge difference. Now I had this guy set to its high charge setting. On its low charge setting, it actually charges slower than this guy here. So you have more options here still. Now how do I know how fast it's charging? Well, with this guy right here. I took my watt meter, I plugged in this, I charged my batteries, got a reading, plugged in this, charged my batteries, got a reading. So this on this low setting is the slowest, then this is medium by default, then this is the fastest that I could find. Those are some interesting things that I like about this. What do I not like about this? This dinky little USB cord. It's nice that it tucks away, that it's built in, but it is very small, and so you're going to need like some sort of a USB hub if you get more than one of these so that you can plug them in. The way I had it plugged in was putting a lot of tension on the end of this USB. That's kind of annoying. It would be nice if there was just a little USB micro or USB-C connector on this, so you could just plug in your own USB cable, get a little more distance on there. But one thing that I like about this is this tiny little USB cord that doesn't take up a lot of space. So, you know, that's a choice that they had to make, and it has some good things and it has some bad things about it. I love the screen. I love that it has lots of information. It takes a little bit of getting used to which information pops up first and which doesn't. The connection, something I don't like about it. Sometimes you jam a battery in, it doesn't notice. On this big boy, you jam a battery in and there is a lot of force jamming that into that socket. Probably too much. Sometimes I feel like I might be crushing my battery. But on this one, if you put the battery in, you put in 2 batteries, you want to make sure that it's actually showing battery 1, battery 2 as it's going through the charging. But overall, I would actually recommend this. It's small, it's versatile, it's got a lot of nerdy information, and boy does that win me over. And boy can I not wait until they come out with one for the FZ100 battery. Got any more questions about this, or any more suggestions? Do you think this thing is garbage and you have a better idea? Send me a comment, I'll get back to you, and maybe I'll make another video. So, until next time, go take some photos. Check 1 2, check. Check 1 2. Test 1 2, test 1 2, test 1 2. Test, test, test. Test, test. Bicycle. Bicycle. Icicle. Icicle. Test. Testing 1 2 3. Well, hey, it's Wes.